All right, hello. My name is Andrew Early, and I will be doing my research uh, project on the black rhino. So I'll be talking about the black rhino, and its real name is the Diceros bicornis. I chose this animal because it is critically endangered and very close to extinction. And in this presentation, I'll cover things like how they behave, how their populations have changed, how they interact with other species in their ecosystem, and what is done to help protect them. I will also connect this topic to the Christian worldview. Um, so why did I choose, like a little bit of an introduction to the black rhino and why I chose it. So I chose the black rhino because it is extremely endangered, uh, and many people do not realize how serious this problem is. They are important to their ecosystems and they can help nature be balanced. That's like kind of the biodiversity thing that I put in the slideshow. And um, I also found it interesting how humans are both not only the biggest threat to the black rhino, but they're also the ones who are help saving it and bringing more numbers back to life. And I also found it interesting, like the black horn. That's really cool. And then learning about their struggle shows how human actions can strongly affect wildlife. So their physical traits. So they are smaller compared to the white rhino. Um, and then males can weigh up to 1,350 kilograms, and females can weigh up to 900 kilograms. Um, as previously mentioned, and the name of it, they have a black horn and they have a hooked upper lip, which helps them feed so that they can grab leaves and branches when they eat. Um, they are herbivores, which means they only eat plants, like shrubs, leaves, and small branches. These traits help them survive in their environments. So behavioral interactions. So black rhinos are mostly solitary, which means they live alone. They don't live with anyone else. They are most actively early in the morning and then also late in the evening, and usually they rest during the hottest part of the day. So that's like peak day. So they're normally resting probably from like 10 to 3 p.m. That's what a lot of information was saying. And so they can be aggressive, especially during mating season, and they defend their space using horn fights or bluff charges. So they'll charge another animal, but they're not actually going to do anything. It's just what it is. It's a bluff charge. And so they also communicate using dung piles, which spread scent messages to other rhinos in the area. So what a dung pile is, it's just their feces, and it has a very distinct smell. Um, so population interactions. So uh, between 1960 and 1995, black rhino populations dropped about 98% because of poaching and hunting. This is very bad. And at one point, only 2,500 remained. And that was a very low number in the 20th century. And thanks to different conservation efforts from lots of groups, lots of people working together, the population has increased to around 6,000 to this current day. I think the exact number is around in the 6,400s, but yeah. And so, even though it's still an improvement, illegal poaching is still a huge and major threat. Since black rhinos reproduce slowly, it takes a long time for the population to recover. So it's going to be a long process, but they need our help. So next, the community interaction. So the black rhinos, they share their habitats with other animals. It's not just them because you need other animals to, um, you know, help a habitat grow, help a habitat, sustain life, ecosystems, that type of stuff. And so they compete for food with animals like elephants, giraffes, and antelopes. Um, Humans are their biggest predator because of the poaching and the hunting and all that. And then young rhinos, their biggest predators are the lions and hyenas. Um, they also have a positive relationship with oxpecker birds. So this relationship between these oxpecker birds is the birds will eat the parasites off the rhino, and then the birds will warn the rhino when danger is near, which helps not just the rhino survive, but it helps um the birds survive too because it's eating the parasites. So it's a mutualistic relationship between the two. So the ecosystem interactions. So black rhinos live in places like woodlands, savannas, bushlands, and deserts. Um, they help control plant growth by eating leaves and shrubs, which prevents overgrowth and allows other plants and animals to survive. So this is kind of the biodiversity thing. It helps keep um, ecosystems in check and level. Um, black rhinos absolutely need open land and they need access to water to live. If they get cut off from that, from access to water, they're not going to survive. And so climate change, habitat destruction, and human development are reducing the resources they need to survive in the wild. So conservation efforts. Okay, so there are many conservation efforts that are taking place to protect black rhinos. For example, one big one is the Lincoln Park Zoo is involved in programs that help monitor and study black rhinos in Africa. They have scientists that go over and help study them. They help, recover them, help try and grow the population again. And then they also have armed rangers and canine units patrolling areas to, stop the poachers, so they're having uh, armed guards surrounding them, protecting them. Not I think it's all times, I'm pretty sure. And so, yeah, and then scientists also use tracking methods and fecal samples to monitor health and reproduction. These efforts have helped increase the population, but more work is still definitely needed. So how it connects to the Christian worldview. So humans have a responsibility to care for God's creation, and Proverbs 12:10 teaches that righteous people care for their animals, and then protecting the black rhino is part of being a good steward of what God has created. And then helping prevent extinction shows compassion and respect for life. And as Christians, we are called to protect life, especially when it is vulnerable. And so for the conclusion, so black rhinos, they are very important to ecosystems, and they're critically endangered, and um, they can help control plant growth, support other animals, and keep habitats balanced. Poaching, habitat loss, and climate change continue to threaten their survival, and then conservation programs are helping, but a lot more support is needed from a lot of different sources, and protecting the black rhinos is important for the environment and shows responsibility and just overall kind of respect for life. Then here are my references. I have 5 references.